Hi, everybody. Welcome to Chit and Chat Warriors for Health with Coach Rose AJ and Coach L. Kelly. That's me. We're here to talk to you about some fun and exciting stuff today. But first, just a quick disclaimer. Coach Rose AJ and myself are not medical professionals. We're just two coaches imparting our own wisdom and knowledge and sharing, what we know and what we've learned in our own journeys and sharing that with you. So please, if you have any sort of medical issues, do seek help from your medical professional. Okay, perfect. Hi, Coach Rose AJ.
Oh, Kelly, what it do today?
It is good. It is good. It's snowing out here.
You know what? It's snowing in my neck of the woods, and I am just like done. I'm roasted, toasted, and done.
That's not a bad thing. I'm
Hmm.
waiting. Listen, I know we're taping right
Hmm.
now,
Hmm.
but if I have to run out, hopefully you can pause or something because I'm waiting for my new cleansing program to be delivered. I'm going on a 30-day cleanse.
Wait,
The
wait a minute, wait a
topic,
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You want me to hit pause? You hear a doorbell
you're gonna
because
have
your
to hit
package
pause
arrived.
because they have the porch nappers these days, and
Oh
so
my word.
I am waiting for this cleanse from this doctor. I'm so excited about this 28-day cleanse. And our
Okay.
topic today, we're talking
Hmm.
about, why, what is it? What are we waiting for?
Yes. Yes.
Why, anything that we want to do, why aren't we doing that right now? And so I want to start a cleanse. I want to start the top of the year and I want to make sure no one steals it on my porch. So if you just got to pause, I don't know how that works. You all,
Okay, I will hit pause. If I hear a ding dong, I will pause
this
the
is very
recording.
important.
But I'm more curious about, okay, first of all, a cleanse. A cleanse. Tell us what prompted you to do this and why is it so exciting for you that you have to have this product and not let it be stolen?
I think well, yeah, you know, people are so sneaky, the porch napping
Yeah.
in the neighborhoods. But I'm excited because it's 2024 and we talked about New Year's resolutions and things like that. And kind of what I envision is kind of having like a clean start. Even though I've been doing what I feel like is, good eating, healthy eating, we can always improve. And I haven't done a cleanse in years. And I think I was telling you, even when I've done a cleanse in the past, I don't know if it worked or not. I just walk in the store. This looks good. You say you're going to cleanse my liver. I don't know. But this
Right.
particular cleanse here, I'm going to tell
Oh, please
you
tell us
about
who
it.
the doctor is and what the protocol entails because you've got me curious.
Yes. So this is a doctor that I follow on Instagram, Dr. Bobby Price. That's his name, Dr. Bobby Price. And so Dr. Bobby Price has this 28-day cleanse, which is supposed to unclog your arteries and fight heart disease. And
Mhm.
so it's 28 days. It's supposed to do all of these wonderful things. And it's this particular cleanse is supposed to help prevent risk factors like, diabetes and high blood pressure and just really get you performing in an optimal health. And so I haven't done a cleanse, like I said, in years. And what I like about this one
Mhm.
is that if you go to Dr. Bobby Price's site, basically you feel like there's follow-up. So, you walk in a store and you buy a cleanse off the shelf, you don't know we don't really know what's happening, right? I
Right.
like the fact that there's follow-up, there's a lot of people doing it, and there's follow-up information so you can kind of monitor and know, if you're having these symptoms and you know that it's working and just
Yeah.
following that. So I'm excited about it and it's supposed to be delivered
Okay.
tonight. I'm just waiting for it. So,
Okay.
and so
So what, okay, so is there weight loss that's supposed to happen or is there healing that's supposed to occur? Do you need to follow a dietary protocol? Do they recommend one? Or do you keep doing your own thing and perhaps navigate it as you wish?
Yeah, so this is supposed to accelerate weight loss. So that's what really, I'm just going to be honest with you. That's
Mhm.
really what attract like we don't want heart disease, right? I don't want
No,
heart disease.
absolutely not.
And so that's definitely a factor. But what
Okay.
drew my attention was the the weight loss and kind of accelerating that process and starting this
Okay.
cleanse. But this is supposed to, it's natural herbs.
Okay.
This combination that the doctor has put together, it's 7 natural solutions. And it is supposed to start or jumpstart kind of weight loss, but also helping to fight against heart disease
Okay.
diabetes and all of those other types of things when we cleanse our bodies, which I guess we're
Yeah.
supposed to do from time to time. I mean, it's important that we do. And like I said, it's been a few years. And
Okay.
so I thought, we're kind of going into that. Why not do what we know we need to do right now
Yes.
versus
Yes.
waiting? So this is
Yes.
kind of like a right now thing. This will kind
Okay.
of jumpstart to 2024, get the body clean,
Yeah.
and be able to take off from there. So.
And so you will be following your normal dietary protocol, is what I'm understanding you to say.
Well, you know what? So from what I read, it looks like it may require you to be a bit more plant-based. And so
Okay.
maybe taking out the processed foods or a lot of the
Yes.
processed foods, at least that have been stripped of fiber, because that's pretty much what a
Yeah.
processed food is, right? They just,
Yes.
lack of fiber. So I think it will require that, but I don't even have a problem with that because,
Okay.
being pescatarian, if I'm not eating fish on a given day, I am following more of a vegetarian or plant-based kind of lifestyle. So it's 28 days. So whatever,
Mhm.
I'm just going to be diligent. I'm just going
Okay.
to stick to
Okay.
it. And then
Okay.
we'll report I'll report the results in 28 days
Okay.
here because
Okay.
if it's something great, then I'm just going to be shouting it out for everybody to try it. So we'll see.
From the rooftops. Now, let me ask you something else about it because I don't ever think I've done a cleanse. If I've done a cleanse, I don't know that I've done it, right?
Right.
So, never a formal cleanse like this. So, how often would you do this cleanse if it hit the spots and you got the results that you are wanting to get? How often is the recommendation to do the cleanse?
I haven't gotten it yet. So this particular
Okay.
cleanse is 28 days. And so I'm not sure after the 28 days if there is a recommendation that you do this once a year. I mean,
Got it.
I've seen nutritionists recommend that we should have some sort of cleanse of the body. But
Yeah.
again, I haven't done it in years.
Okay.
Ideally
Okay.
we eat great food and eat the way that we're
Yes.
supposed to. And ideally, that would be the kind of cleanse for the body. But I guess these natural herbs and things are supposed to help that process and detoxify the body. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, we'll see, how often. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely going to share. And I'm actually, after the 28 days, I'll share with our audience as well, because it may be
Okay.
something that people want to do for themselves as well.
Okay. Thank you. And when is your start date?
I'm going to start Monday.
Okay, there we
Yeah, because
go.
today is a Friday.
Uh-huh,
And
uh-huh.
so we just don't do that,
Mm.
we
So
just
you're going
don't.
to start on this upcoming Monday, which is Dr. King's birthday. So
Yes,
that'll
it is.
help us both
Oh,
remember. Yeah,
wow.
it's a 3-day weekend for me. And child, I am so ready for it. Okay.
I love it. I love it. So,
Yes.
so with our topic, we
Hmm.
were talking about this, and one of the things just going into the new year, I know we talked about the resolutions. I make them, you don't, doesn't
Yes.
matter. But we
Right.
also talked about just, I think that when you make a resolution, people think, well, this year or this time, in January, I'm going to do this. The kind of topic that we have tonight, like, why not now? Why not
Right.
whatever it is you want to do? It doesn't require a resolution or
Yeah.
anything. It just
Yeah.
requires the desire for you to want to achieve something. And
Yeah.
why not now? What are you waiting for? And that's kind of what we're addressing tonight. And I wanted to start with you because we were talking about some topics and you and
Yeah.
travel and things that you wanted to
Yeah.
do. But it looked like you were going to say something though.
Well, on that very thing, what are you waiting for or what's holding you back from what you want to do now? So this is a very simple example. Like I signed up for a course. It was called by Primal Health Coach Institute, right? That's where I got one of my master levels of coaching certifications from. And then I take more curriculum under it. So it's called the Functional Therapeutic Diets Specialist. It's where I've learned about 8 different dietary protocols, studied them, passed the test, did the exam, right? And I wanted to finish it at the end of last year, but it wasn't really that urgent or that important for me, right? So, what was holding me back? Well, it's just another thing on my list that I knew I would do. So, after a call or event that I attended last night, I was like, girl, you're at this computer. Let's just bust this out. So, I passed the test. See, I'm the kind of person that's kind of sneaky. I can pass the test without reading all of the literature, right?
Love it.
Without reading all the literature. And then I passed it. Then I went straight into the exam, got it. Before my last question, Coach L. Kelly was clicked. I had got an email notification that says, congratulations, da 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 da. Because, it's all computer based, right?
Right,
So I was like, dang, so let me go ahead and start downloading these badges and certificates and getting my life in order. But really, what is holding us back from having what we want to have and doing what we want to do, right? For me, it was just procrastination. I know I'll
right,
get to it. I know I'll get to it. I'll do it. But laziness is a part of it for me too. If it's not on that my top priority list, it'll be an eventually.
right,
But this year, I'm operating at a level of urgency. Like everything that I step to has an urgency about it. Otherwise, I won't sign up for the course. Otherwise, I won't engage with those acquaintances. Otherwise, I won't say yes to things, right?
right.
They need to be something that creates the urgency that I want to do it. So, what's holding me back from doing what I want to do now is really me, myself, and I. I could blame it on finances, yes. I could
Right.
blame it on I'm working 5 days a week, or I could just blame it on life circumstances. But it's really me, myself, and I. And in order to overcome that, I just need to say yes and do it with abandon, not reckless abandon, but just
Right.
with abandon without thinking about it, just do it. So, would you like to chip in and share what's holding you back from what you want to do now, or what are you waiting for?
Um, I think in general, like sometimes, like you said, there can be several things that hold us back from doing what we want to do. It could be laziness. It could be procrastination. It could be, lack of belief that you can achieve something. I think that that kind of fear. And I think that's normal, especially if it's something new that someone wants to take on. And so for me, I know that just starting the health and wellness program, that's something that I accelerated in doing. And then, now we start the podcast and all these other kind of things. And now I'm thinking, well, where else do I want to take this? I'm kind of being a little chill. Kind of enjoying where we are at now, but I really
Mhm.
want to take it to the next level. And so now I'm just kind of thinking, what does that mean for me? And what's holding me back would be, me, because I'm just kind of, lackadaisical. I like where we are. I like how we're growing. I like, the information we're sharing with everyone. But eventually I know I'm going to need to push myself to take it to the next level. So I think that for me is just kind of, I don't know why we do what we do. I don't know why I have that kind of lackadaisical thought around it, but it is something I'd like to eventually accelerate or at least figure out where I want to take it, and continue growing.
So let me pose this to you. What if you never figure out where you want to take it? Because there's a lot of areas in our lives where it's okay just to remain status quo, right? So what if you never figure it out and you're okay being okay with whatever it is?
Well, I like that. Then there's no pressure. Because
Right?
I think when I say pressure, I think that we tend to put pressure on ourselves, especially if we feel like we're not accelerating in an area that we feel we should be or that we want to. So when you put it that way, I
Mhm.
think that if we looked at everything that way, then there's no pressure to it. Then I can just kind
True.
of go with the flow. But I think that let's say there's an area where I feel someone is fearful, like
Yes.
you want to, how do you combat the fear? What is some of the advice that you would think of to give someone? Because, the laziness, sure, just don't be lazy. You just go do it, right?
Yeah.
Procrastination, stop it. Go do it. You know what you need to do. But what if it's truly fear holding someone back? What if someone wants to, start a new venture, start a new business venture? What if they want to start a new class, go back to school, things like that, but they're procrastinating that, even though it's something that they feel, that would add happiness and value to their lives now. What do you advise? What can people do to kind of address that?
Oh, I always look back on me. trying to get off of the roller coaster of losing weight and just being weight stable and mentally stable, because all my vicious thoughts, all my circulating thoughts were around weight loss. How do I look? How do these clothes look? How's my makeup? All that drama, right?
Mhm.
So pose the question one more time because I got lost in my little shuffle
No, well, I'm just
of
so,
the
like I said,
merry-go-round.
if it's laziness, that's easy.
Yes,
Don't
yes,
be lazy.
yes,
If it's procrastinate, don't procrastinate. Go
yes,
do
yes.
it. But if
Uh,
it's fear that's
Fear,
truly
that's what
holding,
she
because
asked.
that can kind
Yes,
of, I read
yes,
somewhere that fear is the number one factor that kind of, gets in people's way. That's like the number one
yeah,
thing in people's lives. How do
yeah.
people get around that? How do you do that so you can move now?
So that's what I was hitting. I knew the question. So, fear. So even though I wanted something as bad as weight loss and to just stop getting on the merry-go-round, right? The diet drama and trauma, there was fear that what if I did lose weight? What if I were successful? How would my life change? How would people treat me differently? Especially my husband. Our relationship is what it is, but he would treat me differently, right?
Right.
Instead of me just being the chill or the hyper focused or whatever person that I was, now my life would change. So,
Hmm.
fear of change is probably the biggest thing. Fear of now there will be different expectations. Now I already know what to expect of myself right now. But if I do step up to the plate and change or go for that promotion or buy that house or make that investment in whatever it is,
Hmm.
my life is going to change. So I'm scared, right? So how do you
Hmm.
deal with it? You just do it. You just do it scared, because if it's on your mind, if it's on your consciousness and you can't stop thinking about it, that purchase, that trip, adopting a child, whatever it is, it's going to eat you alive. You're going to go to your grave thinking, how would my life have been different if I had taken that leap in spite of my fear?
Hmm.
So even with us podcasting and us doing YouTubing, I don't worry about what the actual outcome will be. We have to leap, talk about these things that are on our minds, invite other people into the conversation. I got a couple of no's this week when I invited people in for interviews, right?
Right.
Not to this channel, but for some other things. But I just said thank you. And in the past, I would have been like, let me delete this comment. I can't believe I did this, da 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 da. But now it's like, thank you. I completely understand and move
Right.
on,
Right.
right? So I don't want to sit with the fear of the unknown. I'd rather go through the movements or the motions of being scared, literally shitting my pants, having headaches, staying up late at night, working towards what I want instead of sitting in fear and wondering what if. Because if you think about it, the energy that you expend on both are the same. But the
Right.
one where there's inaction, you just stay in perpetual turmoil, where the other one, you're going through it and you're showing yourself you can do it,
Right. You
right?
know, that's a really good point because I remember when I had this fear of public speaking. I mean,
Mm.
like true shaking in your boots fear, like a real fear, just don't want to do it. And, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but fortunately, my career made me have to deal with that fear. And I remember, so I started educating myself, looking at a lot of YouTubes, just reading a lot of books on how to overcome this fear. And what it came down to was, well, number one, that is a number one fear that people have as well, public speaking. And what it came down to was, yes, they say that when NBA players or, major stars like that, when they go play, they're nervous. They're nervous before they get out on that field. That nervousness and that turns into a fear because they have this anxiety because they want to do well, kind of taking that thought and making it a positive thought. It's not a negative thing. You're excited about this public speaking because you are thinking about what are other people going to think about me. But when you let that go and just realize you really want to get this information out there, you just really kind of, I don't know if it's a life-changing situation with the information you're giving, but you want to get your message out there. You want to impact people, I'm assuming, if you're talking to them. And that fear is a positive thing because you want
Mhm.
to do a great job. And so when I learned to kind of balance that, it's not fear that something's gonna happen, you're gonna kneel over and die, from public speaking, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But being able to conceptualize, hey, like you just said, it kind of weighs the same. It's still a
Hmm.
fear, but it's a positive fear. You want to do a great job, you know, and just being focused on how what you're delivering to people and the value you're bringing and getting out of your own head. It makes you excited, gives you a little anxiety, but it's a good thing. What do you think about you know, we've all heard this before. If this is your last 24 hours on Earth,
Mm. Mm.
you know, would that change or light a fire? Because you said that for you right now,
Yeah.
you're moving at an accelerated speed, like you're
Yeah.
doing it right now. Do you
Yes.
think that would change if we really could think like that? If we really could
Mm.
think, you know what? Because technically it's true in a sense,
Hmm.
in that no, we don't know we're going to die in 24 hours, but technically it's true that tomorrow's not guaranteed.
Right.
Do you think that would make a difference if we could always be in that mindset of, you know, what if this were the last 24 hours on Earth? How would I want to be living here?
Well, I have to be candid that if I went through every day thinking that this would was the last 24 hours, it would create a lot of stress. Maybe initially it would create good stress and I'd be about that life, but eventually it would create a lot of stress in me for myself in a negative capacity,
Right,
right? And then it would just be like, that's just another question I'm asking myself, and I already know the answer to. This isn't going to be my last 24 hours, so there's no
right,
sense of urgency. But if I were to operate as though this was the last 24 hours of my life, I would fly to Europe. I would have my grandkids' college funds all taken care of. This house would be sold with everything in it, and I'd be on a flight to Hawaii or Japan or something exotic, right? So I do
right.
all of that in 24 hours and then some.
That actually
Yeah,
sounds really nice. I mean, you
yeah,
know, but
yeah,
I know what you mean. Yeah, you're right. We
yeah.
would operate from a place of stress if
Mhm.
it was our last 24. But okay, so something not as dramatic, just thinking that today is not guaranteed. So what
Right.
I put off for tomorrow and say, well, I'll just do it tomorrow or I'll do it next week. Even if
Mhm.
it's just to call someone, you know, I'll call that
Yes.
person tomorrow, I'll call them next week. Maybe, how did you get the sense of urgency? How were you able to create that sense of urgency to, you know, talk about the travel and the things that you
Mhm.
have been discussing? And how does someone do that? You know, how do we remember that? I know that sense of urgency may stress someone out when we use that word, but just let's just say acting now, you know, versus putting it off for later. How does someone, you know, be able to tackle that to know that, hey, you know, what I want to do, I can do it right now?
Right. What you want to do, you can actually do right now. But this is the thing, if it's not important to you, you're never going to do it until it just you stumble upon it, or it's like, oh, today's a good day. It's Dr. King's birthday. I'm home for the day. Why don't I just do it?
Mm,
You just fall into it, right? But if
mhm.
it's really important to you, you will find a way to make it happen. And for me, meeting people in real life and virtually, as I we were sharing, that's really important to me this year. Rubbing the elbows and, just getting at people, getting some sun and stuff. That is really, really the top of my list, other
Right.
than going to work to make an income to provide for that.
Absolutely. Because that's just a part
Right.
of us too.
Yeah. So, I mean, if it's important, you're going to make it happen. If it's not, you're not.
Right.
So you have to prioritize what is really important to you. Is it your health? Is it your mental health? Is it your finances? Is it your family relationships? Is it travel? Is it looking for a new job? Is it retiring? Whatever it is, once you identify what is urgent or what's pressing for you right in this moment, you're going to be better off than trying to figure it out and never knowing
Oh, that is so
and just
true.
wondering. Mhm.
And you know what? You did something. Last night we met with a women's group
Yes.
and it was just phenomenal. It was a virtual meeting
Yeah.
that you led for us. Thank you so much. And I liked one of the exercises, just in general, one of the exercises that you had one of the women do in our group was to write down their goal of
Mhm.
what they want to achieve. And then you had them write that down at the bottom of the page. And then you had them write at the top of the page, you know, well, at the top, what that goal is that they want to achieve. And at the bottom, if it's, you know, when they want to achieve it by.
Yeah.
And then the middle, you had her put her action steps of what are you going to do to achieve that? And I thought that was pretty amazing. And
Yeah.
in that case, it was like a long-term plan. But can you
Right.
do the same thing? Can you utilize that same thing for a short-term plan as well?
Yeah, so for instance, for me, my 12 trips out of town this year. So I started with December in mind, December of 2024, and worked backwards, right? So we know where we're going to go in August. We know where we're going to go in, January, February, March, April, and just starting to plug it in that no matter what. And the actual exercise that I gave to the young lady last night is that she wants to retire at a certain age. So I had her write that age of her retirement. She wants to do something in the fashion industry when she retires. So I had her write that down. And then there was one more step in there. I had her write her present age. So she has all this space in between,
Right,
right? That she needs to scribble in what does she need to do to get to a place where she can assist other women with their fashion decisions or dressing them or being a shopper for them or whatever her description is going to be. So
right,
she can take courses, she can volunteer in places, she can be an intern, she can write those steps in there and start creating her resume. Then before she retires, she's already acquired that level of training or created her own business, and then she eases into retirement,
right,
right?
right.
So just thinking it out and creating the steps for yourself is a must.
I
Yeah.
love that. And I love that because I told you, let me get out my pen and pad and do my own, do my own synopsis here. But I
Yeah.
think that we can apply that to the
Yeah.
short term too. So if we're talking
Yeah.
about do it now to someone may not look like 5 years from now. It may be
Right.
something that you're being called into action to do now. Your intuition is
Mhm.
telling you that you should, maybe you just need that kind of pull, that extra pull to do it. I think that step is even good then
Yeah.
because it kind of fills in the gaps. If you have, this is
Mhm.
my goal here,
Yes.
and this is when I want to achieve it,
Yes.
just, kind of that step by step plan, it
Mhm.
fills in the gaps. And that could be even for something short term to kind of get you into motion and start achieving what it is you want to do.
Well, I mean, you are a perfect example on this call because you shared with us the cleanse that you're going to be doing and the date that you're going to start it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you identified that it was 28 days. And once you understand what the instructions or the protocol is, within that, you can just fill in your 28 days, your blank, right?
Right, right.
Or you can take it week by week.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be really, really simple or really, really detailed as a couple of years or a couple of weeks or a couple of months or whatever you want.
I think so.
But I think y- a person has to identify what they want and
Right,
either work forward in the minimal steps or work towards the end goal and then work backwards
right.
to help them. Yeah.
I think that's
Uh,
good because I think it's
yeah.
really important. I think that just talented people on the earth and we all help each other and to grow and everything. And so it's a lot that people have to offer, but sometimes they may not believe that
Yeah.
or they just don't think now is the time or just, is anyone going to be interested in this? So I think it's good for people to whatever it is that they're feeling like I really want to do this thing to just
Mhm.
like you said, do it scared. Like there's
But
nothing wrong with that.
I'm curious about now is the time. Okay, when is there ever going to be a great time? I had my daughter when I was 19, almost 20, and never had a child thereafter because I couldn't have any more children, right?
Right,
So if I didn't have her at 20, when would it have been the perfect time? Right?
right.
It's never the perfect time.
That's you know
And
what that reminds. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
oh
ahead.
no,
Go.
go
No, you
ahead,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you
No,
go ahead.
when is the perfect time? There's never the perfect time. There's never the perfect time to take off of work. There's never the perfect time to take a vacation. There's never the perfect time to buy a house.
Right.
No time is ever perfect other than right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say that reminds
Mhm.
me of it's just a scenario of like a guy, telling a girl who's waiting to get married, telling a woman who's waiting to get married, you know what is not the perfect time, like I need to get my foundation together. I need to do this, I need to do that. But then you
Mhm.
have long-term marriages that they've been married forever and they married when the man was broke, so it's
Right,
kind of
right,
like there
right.
is no, even with something like that, like there is no perfect
Mhm.
time
Mhm.
starting your own health and wellness journey. now's the time,
Yes.
since tomorrow
Yes.
is not guaranteed, you know. So that's just a given, I think, for that. I don't
Hmm.
think that we should put, I mean, other than putting it off a few days, you know, to enjoy the
Yeah.
weekend, I don't
Yeah.
think that we I don't think that that is something that we need to be adamant about starting
Mhm.
right now, since time is not guaranteed and we just want to be the best people we can within our bodies and out.
So, and then you also mentioned, is now the right time for a business, or does anybody want this, what I have to offer, yada, yada, yada. And, I used to think that way when I first entered coaching. But what God was telling me girlfriend, you're not ready yet. You need to be working on you. So I spent a couple of years working, and I'm still doing the work of working on me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I say now is yes, people are going to want whatever product you have selling, but you have to be your first client. You have to be your first customer. You have to believe in whether it's nail polish or hairstyle or, scrubbing toilets, whatever it is, the product that you're selling, you have to believe in it so hard that whoever you're pitching it to, selling it to, or whoever sees you doing it will believe in it because they see you believing in it so hard that you don't even have to say anything. The vibes are there.
Absolutely. And I just
Yes,
had this like
yes.
epiphany when you
Mhm.
said that God said, girlfriend, you are not ready right now.
No, no.
I just had this epiphany though. He was working on you. You were ready for what you were
Mhm.
ready for at that time.
Yeah.
So you still started the process. You still
Yes.
started working towards that. But so like we always say, like Rome wasn't built in a day. It's not like the nail polish or whatever you're selling. You're just gonna go sell that today. So
Yeah.
even though God gave you that message, the thing is, he was still preparing you. So
Yes.
what you're doing today is where you are today. And so you probably chipped away at that little by little. And I think that that's something to highlight too, because you say you want it now. There may be still work you have to do. And that may frustrate people too. Like, oh, this is a long
Yeah.
journey, or it's going to be a
Yeah.
lot of in between, but you have to start somewhere,
Hmm.
that starting process.
And never diverting your eyes off the prize. You keep your eye on the prize, right?
Right.
Always keep your eye on the goal. Always keep your eye on your wish, your dream, your hope, whatever it is. Keep your eyes on it and put your work in behind it. Even if there's some things that are thrown in your way, you still know that over that hill, over that hurdle, I'm going to keep going because what I want is on the other side.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you're
Absolutely.
waiting to start, you're delaying your process, your progress, and your promotion to where you're going by not
Absolutely.
starting today.
What do you think about what do you think about the power of visualization? Do you think that what people can see, that will motivate people to say, "Oh, I need to do this right now because I can
Yes.
see it. I mean, like I have to make this happen." Do you believe in the power of visualization?
Oh my gosh, I believe in the power of visualization so much that when I'm working out, I pretend I'm the virtual trainer. If I'm at Hot Works, girl, she ain't got nothing on me, okay, homie. Or if I'm up at the gym doing my weights and stuff, I'll be like, they done rolled out the red carpet. You see this shoulder shrug, girl, look at that back. I clap for myself every step of the way. Visualization will get you there because your brain really doesn't know the difference whether it's actual or not actual, or if it's in the future or in the past,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
visualization is so important. And I think that what you dream about, what you create in your mind, whether you're awake, whether you're sleeping, or whether you're napping, that creates your reality.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's funny what you say about the brain because the brain is so literal. So I've heard someone say, like when we say, "Oh my God, this is killing me," or "Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to do that." That our brain, now you may not even, that just may be, just a bad moment for you. You don't really mean it. You just said it, you just say these things out loud. We don't really mean it. Not gonna, it's not gonna kill me. But the brain takes things literal. So that's interesting because I think that if we want to achieve goals now or working towards the future, we have to be aware of our self-talk too, because of how our brains interpret what you just said, things literally.
Yeah.
So, your brain probably really did interpret that you are like the master trainer here
I'm the
because you were
junior
saying that.
Arnold Schwarzenegger in the making without the steroids, though.
Right. No, yeah, that's important. But just, I mean, just to do that, that probably pumps you up when you're in there. You're
Yeah,
probably, really vibing out and
yeah,
everything. And I
yeah.
think that's really important. So we can't forget the self-talk because the self-talk, it starts with a thought. Everything starts with a thought
Mhm,
before you even put it into fruition. And I
mhm,
know for me, that makes a difference in how I move forward, what I'm telling myself that I'm able to do with that, like public speaking, going back to
mhm,
that. I was going to decline a beautiful start to my career long, long ago.
mm,
In my oh, well, I was going to say age, but in my early 30s at the time, and I had my best friend at the time had to talk me off of that ledge that
good.
you don't turn this opportunity down because of your fear. And I had two fears. It was a fear of public speaking. It was a fear of travel. This was a sales job that was going to require me to travel a lot. And this
Mhm,
one best friend, talked to me about that. And you have to get through that. You have to work through it. And it's just scary to think, had I not done that, because I was pretty
mhm,
content. I was making an okay living at the time.
mhm,
I thought I was doing really well.
mhm.
But this was next level. And
Right.
this next level required me to conquer these fears. And so I put that into action to do that because, that talking to a friend and having someone kind of talking that life into me, because sometimes we need that, especially, when you're younger. But that helped me to get over that. But when I think back that, wow, I was going to pass up opportunities then because of that fear of public speaking and that fear of travel, because it was going to be quite a bit.
Mhm.
I wouldn't have had the opportunity that I did. So I think that fear can really kind of, make us kind of not want to move forward sometimes. So it's really important that people conquer that too.
And paralyze you. And this is what I want to ask you. Did you die as a result of doing what you needed to do with public speaking and moving up into different positions in your career? Did you die as a
No,
result of that?
didn't die.
But we feel as though we're going to die, right? The
Right.
anxiety or thinking like, oh my gosh, people are going to be laughing at me, or, I so busted, or whatever we want to say. But we didn't die. There were so many instances where we did take the deep breath, we took the leap, or we had the friend talk us through, or somebody to help us through the process. And when you look back, you're like, what was I so scared of?
Exactly. And I think that's
Right?
why it's a good exercise to actually write down, because this is the thing, right? We
Mhm,
do want to acknowledge ourselves. We do want to validate our feelings. You can't
mhm,
just talk a feeling away. If I have a feeling,
mhm.
you have a feeling, we have a feeling.
Yeah.
But I think it's good for us to write down and ask ourselves, well, actually write down the feeling. This is what I'm feeling. I didn't do that then. I just listened to the friend and just got over it. But now this is the older me talking. I think it's good to write down, what is that fear?
Mhm.
And then also in the second column, write down what's the worst that can happen
Right.
and actually look at that. It's not
Right.
death. It may be a
But
little
we feel
embarrassment.
like it. It
We
feels
feel
like
like it,
it.
right? Embarrassment feels like death. But I think
Yeah.
doing that will help us put things in perspective. What's stopping me from starting this career? What's stopping me from seeking the love or the opportunities that I want in my life? And then what is the worst that can happen, if I go down this path? Actually validating that and looking through it. And then it seems more real and it
Mhm.
seems more tangible. Like, it's not a big deal.
Right.
Is it like embarrassment? Is it money? Because sometimes it may be things like that. Like I
Yeah.
can't do this because it's money. Well, that's not really a fear, but that is something to address. So I think it's always
Real
good to kind of
concern.
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly
Hmm.
address those concerns.
Yeah. This is the funniest thing. So when I look at my La Nietas, which are my granddaughters, when I look at them, kids at 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, they are really fearless. They're fearless. So if in some instances we can act like them, brand new,
Right.
really brand new, that would free us from so much of the fear. It would free us from so much of being stagnant and just sitting on the couch and not jumping in and taking those leaps that we know we need to take. And it kind of goes back to my certification that I was telling you about. I wanted to close it out at the end of the year, but oh, I got time. Let me just do it. And just busting it out in a matter of 2 hours on a work night after a full day and after having conversations with people. Do you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yes.
So if I can get that kind of momentum and that energy in one evening, where was it several weeks ago when I wanted to close out?
Right.
So sometimes we just need to do that. Just remember who we were as children, kind of, or even just watch children
Right.
and how free and caring and adventurous they are because it's still in us. There's no fear with kids, virtually no fear with kids. They just do what they do.
Right. That's
So,
true. They don't even call it a risk. They just
no,
call it that it's just living, right?
right? They don't know what risk is, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But the
Agreed.
risk of staying the same and not doing what we are called to do or what we want to do or what our heart's desires is, the risk of just staying here and not getting what we want out of life, that's more detrimental, I think, than taking the leap of faith, being scared, right? And just doing the
Absolutely.
darn thing. Uh,
Absolutely. When I majored in psychology and sociology, I remember the instructor saying that we are more comfortable being, oh shoot, now it's going to be all deep right now. It's going to be all deep, and I forgot. He said we're more comfortable being unhappy than being uncomfortably happy because to be happy is going to take some kind of, to be uncomfortable a little bit because there are going to be risks in life that you have to take to get to that happiness. But sometimes we'd rather just stay status quo, even if we're not happy. People are more comfortable that way. That's human nature. There's nothing wrong with you, by the way. That's just human nature. And so we actually have to push ourselves out of that kind of human nature to take risks so we can seek that happiness that we are looking for
that we're looking for instead of settling, right? Instead of
instead of
settling.
settling.
But there are people in my immediate household, which is one other person other than me,
Right.
who has settled for years. And when I say years, I would say probably at least 8 years. And
Hmm.
a part of that settling for me is being willing to accept that he has settled for the life that he has, right? Does
Right.
that make sense?
Yes.
Instead of me imposing and keeping asking and trying new things, he's not about that life. And I'm
Right.
okay with that. But I had
Right.
to come to the conclusion because he's not about that life doesn't mean that I have to be about that life. I got to
Oh,
keep doing
right.
me. I got to keep striving. I got to keep going through the hoops and facing my fears alone or together. It doesn't matter, right?
Absolutely, because well, that's just it's exhausting, and it's nothing against the person in the home because that would be on you if you're exhausting yourself to try
Yes.
to make someone do something. It's exhaustive
Mhm.
to do that. I think that
Mhm.
you live your life to its fullest,
Yeah.
and then the people around you come aboard or
Yeah.
not, right?
Right.
But you can't. We don't have enough energy for that.
Right.
We're only in one body and
Mhm.
we can only be so yeah, I love how you're just saying I'm just gonna live my life and
Yeah.
come along for the
Yeah.
journey or not,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we only have this one life to live,
Right.
so I think that yeah, I like that philosophy a lot, and I think that people who are gonna be there around you, they'll come aboard.
That yes. So with that being said, before we close out, I'm going to turn this question on you. Um, do you have anything that's holding you back from what you want to do right now? And if so, what are you waiting for?
That's a good question. Do I have anything that's holding me back? um I would honestly, now, if you asked me this question maybe months ago, a year ago, I'm just going to
Mhm.
throw everything at you, including the
Yeah.
kitchen sink. I feel like, I feel like I've just been really on this journey
Yeah.
of self-awareness and improvement. And so that's just where I've been over the last year, just
Okay.
really, just challenging myself beyond the uncomfortable. But had you asked me that a year ago,
Yeah.
I can tell you a few things. It was to start the health and, wellness journey. It
Yeah.
was to, start just doing something new.
Right.
I have a successful career, but we're not just work, right? We're not just what we do in our
Yeah.
careers. And I knew that I wanted to do something that serves others, and that's just kind of like, doing that acts of giving. To me, this is like, that kind of thing. I love this kind of thing. I love imparting knowledge. I love being able to learn and then also educate. So I feel
Mhm.
like I'm on that path. It's not at a place of perfection, but I'm on that path of just kind to just always trying to reveal to myself what it is and trying to go forward. But I'm telling you right now, Coach Rose
Mhm.
AJ,
Uh-huh.
a year ago before all of our training and everything,
Uh-huh.
I could have thrown everything at you because I just felt like it was especially the health part. I felt like I
Okay.
wasn't optimal, which is why I'm
Hmm.
here. I
Hmm.
knew that I wanted to do something new and different, which is why I'm here. So I feel
Yes.
like it's just a constant journey though.
Okay. I can believe that too. Constant, constant journey.
Yeah.
Yes.
What
All
about
right.
you?
Oh, girl, I was hoping to escape without you
No,
asking me this.
What about you?
So, so what I really want to do now, in all candidness, I like money. I like money.
Yes.
I have been poor. I would say working wage poor when I was younger, like up to about 30. I would say early 20s, 30s, which is probably normal paycheck to paycheck for
Right.
most people in their younger years. But what I want to do right now is, do the laptop life, as they call it. I want to travel. I want to coach women to wellness.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be a beacon of hope for those that may have lost hope. I want to do that
Mm-hmm.
full time, whatever that full
Yes.
time looks like. So what's holding me back from that is I've always believed in working for the government or whoever, having benefits, having a retirement. That's just been my work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm scared to let that go and take the actual leap of faith and investing the time and energy and commitment required to make the salary that I'm currently making and then some,
Right.
and to have the benefits that I'll be paying for. And what I'm waiting for, I guess, is the opportune moment. Whenever the opportune moment is, I guess having a full-time job and a part-time business,
Right.
and then the business eventually exceed the full-time job. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for,
Mm-hmm. And it's
which
gonna
sounds,
happen. You've already
yeah,
spoken into existence. Okay, once you put it out there, it's
yes,
already spoken into
yes.
existence. And so I
Mhm.
can't wait to see it because you're a fabulous coach.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. Do you have anything that you would like to close us out with this week, Coach L. Kelly? Any thoughts or any ahas even from this conversation or insights?
Yeah, I would just say to everyone, whatever you want to do, just start thinking about that. And as we asked the question today, why not now? What's stopping you? Figure that out for yourself because that's the best way for us to live the best lives and, just feel, so happy and, in our space and in our bodies and everything. So figure out what that is for you. And Coach Rose, AJ, and I are here as well. So if you have any comments or questions, let us know.
Yes, very much so. So thank you, our friends. Thank you, our friends. I was going to say my friends because I'm so used to saying my friends, my friends. But anyway, thank you, our friends, for tuning in or listening on Spotify. We are on Spotify podcast. And of course, you know that we are on YouTube. But please invite others. Please like, share, subscribe, invite others in. We need your support to continue these conversations, but we'll keep having the conversations regardless, right, Coach L.
Right,
Kelly? We'll
right.
keep having them and we'll keep bringing you topics that are pertinent to women that are 50 and older. But as I always say, even if you're 30, 35, you can get a head start by listening to some OGs. You know what I'm
Oh yeah.
saying?
Oh, it's all relative. We can teach you some things. No, but it's all
Right.
relative. This is just women.
Mhm.
This is just women,
Yes.
period. Women
Yeah.
empowerment.
Yes. All right. So, Coach L. Kelly, perhaps next week you'll probably be 5 days into your cleanse.
Yes,
And if you notice some changes already, maybe you can update us on that.
I
And
will.
hopefully the snow and ice will be gone from the Pacific Northwest. And I will be traveling next Saturday, which is the 20th, to LA. I'll be making a day trip to LA, which I can update you guys on when I get back. So that's what I have looking
Nice.
forward
Safe
to.
travels. Safe
Yes.
travels. That's fun.
All right, guys, take care and we'll
Take
talk soon.
care. Bye.